where's the backlash though? Because I get that everyone's always saying, yeah, the guys, but it's like these girls are not fucking mentally retarded. Like they're not idiots. They know good and fucking well what they're doing. Like they've grown up. They're going into adulthood. They know what they're doing, and it's like deceiving people is wrong. Like so, it's like can we talk about that at all? Is there any backlash for that? Like, yo, dude was tricked and deceived. You can't blame if a man had tricked or deceived a woman to get something out of her. We would be calling him all type of predators. But now, so how does the dude who got deceived get called the predator? I don't think that's fair. The person who is deceiving him is a predator.
Hold on, y'all. We'll go to Hank.
The girl knows why she deceived him. She knew what she wanted to do.
Clout, let Hank get some. I got you.
Yeah, they're never predators. Clout. Go ahead, Hank.
Oh, I don't Viz, I don't agree with you calling that young man a future predator. I don't agree with that at all because, and I agree with Shannon, putting that stigma on that man is bad. We've seen these names and titles that they give us sometimes, especially the women. It's not okay. But let me say this: once that man found out she was 17. It should have been like a stop and deceased letter been handed to him, and another text should have never went her way. And if she said something or sent another text, he should have blocked her. Look, fellas, if y'all relying on these women and depend on them for your freedom, your livelihood, and how you move and operate, you're a fool. You's a goddamn fool. I would never allow me as a man to let a woman operate and tell me, no, I wouldn't. So I can't put my faith into somebody who really don't give a goddamn about me. I release a video every Thursday. Y'all better watch it. I wouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. I got to depend on her to be honest with me. No, I need to do research. In 2024, you have to do research. You can't just trust what a woman tells you about her age if she looks young. You can't. Please teach your sons this. If she looks young, doesn't matter how young, man, ID like she's trying to buy a goddamn drink. I need to see some ID. I need to know. Matter of fact, I won't go any further than the ID. I need to see some baby pictures just to make sure you was born a woman or a girl. Make sure you do this stuff. It sounds funny. It sounds crazy. It sounds extreme. But this is serious. So you don't get caught up in this catch-22 like he is. Now, I hope that, I assume that my man fired him. He should have been fired.
Yeah, he did.
He should have been fired after that situation. It should have went further than that. He should do this video explaining what happened and how he doesn't agree with it. He's not part of it, and separate himself completely. Don't take no more phone calls. Don't take no more meetings. Don't tell him to send me an email. Don't even record a video telling me you're sorry. Don't tell me I'm sorry. Go talk to that little girl and tell him you sorry for what you did and you went to the extreme. You should have done that shit. That's what he needs to be doing. That'll be my last conversation I have with that man. You need to apologize to her. Don't apologize to me. But fellas, you got to protect yourself. You got to protect your sons, your nephews, your cousins, your neighbors. Do what you got to do, man, because, look, too many situations like this happen to young men. They get caught up in a catch-22. I've seen it happen in the school my son went to. This young man was 19, still in high school, but his girlfriend was 16. Took her to prom. Somebody reported him. Somebody reported him, and he got himself in trouble. Now, luckily and fortunately for the young man, it didn't go any farther than the situation where he just was told to stay away. He never got locked up, or no criminal charges was brought upon him. A situation like that, it could have turned left real fast in a hurry. So, guys, please protect yourself and protect your boys. I'll leave it there.
All right, go ahead, Trev.
All right, so there's a very big difference between what we think is right morally versus what is right legally, right? I feel like as a man, you should have if you're going to use anything as your benchmark, then it should be, would I be okay with my daughter at this age dating a man at such and such age? And if you don't agree with that, then that's probably not some type of activity that you should want to get into. And it gets extremely confusing when you even try to go that route, because it's like, all right, so legally it's a slippery slope, because now we have to wonder about what state was he in. Because if you Wikipedia the thing, I was just shocked when I looked it up. There's plenty of states where you can have unrestricted activity as a 16-year-old, and unrestricted mean you don't need the parents' consent either. So there's plenty of states where it starts at 16. A lot of them are 17, and it's all over the place. So legally, he might not have done anything wrong legally either. So he probably can't be in trouble, right? I personally tell men to stay away from it. You know, you want to just to not have that stigma on you. You don't want that. Deal with women who are closer to your age, if at all possible, until they're at least universal legal consent, for that matter. And you might be good, because it gets really weird. And then when you start going overseas, we were just talking about Paris, France. Okay, theirs is 15, and then in other countries it's even worse, where it gets into scary numbers that you would never want your daughter living there type numbers. So
Trev, speak on this though.
15 is 12.
Trev, speak on this. So there's over 30 states in the United States. We got 50. It's more than half. 30 of them, the age of consent is 16, including California. But the age of consent is different than statutory. So even though a 16-year-old in California can have sex without telling mom and dad, they're supposed to have sex with somebody else that's 16 or 17. So how do you feel about the statutory part, where if a person that is 16 years old in 30 or more states can have sex at 16, but the moment they have sex with somebody who's 18 years old, it's a whole different legal issue.
It's a whole different, and that's bad. And that's bad. And that's why I just tell men, listen, just stay away from that altogether. And as far as calling dude a PDF file, we have to be clear about what that definition is. What the definition is when a person is attracted to people prior to puberty. That's what that looks like. That's the actual definition of it. So even though it might be a poor judgment call and you should absolutely stay away from it, we can't put labels on people that don't fit the definition. We just have to be clear about what we're saying, because words matter, right? Personally, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't encourage anybody to do it. And I certainly wouldn't want my children dating somebody who's much older than them. This situation is kind of sticky, pause, because it's like, all right, the dude, it's not absolutely clear as to what the dates were. We know it was a few years, right? He's probably not the dude that deflowered her. She might have already been into activity, and maybe some people think that doesn't matter, but it's like she lied, said she was 19 because she was trying to do what it do, and then now he's in this situation. He should have stopped immediately and been like, nah, the hell out of here. Oh, you said you 7 what? I don't care if you playing, I'm out. If you can't prove to me with a legitimate identification, I'm out. But I really wish I knew exactly what the age gap was. And then the laws even start to do that too, because some will say, okay, well, if you have a 5-year gap, and it gets confusing. It gets really confusing. That's why I just encourage men to stay away from it. If you can avoid it, stay away from it, because you don't want those types of issues. It's not worth it. There's enough women out here, grown women, that you can get with. You don't have to deal with minors. Just stay away from it. You can't even take them out for a drink. If I can't take you out for a drink, then I don't need to be hanging with you.
All right, go ahead, Marcus.
Once you turn 18, just draw a hard line for yourself. Don't mess with nobody under 18. Don't entertain it. Don't play with it. Don't joke about it. Don't do none of that shit. Just find people that are older than that. And if you need to verify it, then verify it. Because at the end of the day, you'd rather have somebody ask and you be offended by you asking to see their ID than you be on the registry somewhere for a misunderstanding at 18 or 19. It's just not worth it. There's no sex in the world that's worth being on no damn registry or being labeled that. That's one of the worst tags you can get. And I think the term is ebophile for people that's like, think The PDF one is pre-pubescent, and then post-pubescent is ebophile. But people don't make no distinction between the two different terms. They just gonna label you that whole thing. So stay clear the fuck away from it. And Cenat, I mean, that's probably one of his good friends. Now he got to distance himself from him, because you can't be on record supporting him in this, none of that shit. He made you down there could support him in murder, you can support him in robbery, you can support him in down there all these other crimes, but that one you can't stand with him with. That's not how that works. So just make 18 a hard line and stay away from people under that age.
All right, go ahead, Rebel.
It's nasty work. That girl held those things. It was nefarious. If you parse it through rather than just being, we have to be very careful and discerning when we start saying things without, okay, you know what? I'm not just going to say nail this young boy to the cross and put that jacket on him. Let's find out exactly what happened rather than get the torches and go find him. Okay, so let's look at this. She had a whole year of conversation with him. Despite the deceit, she continued a conversation. And no point did she report it, but years later, when Cenat started getting fame and big money, because this is just recent years, it comes back out. That's publicized. So
I thought it was just 2 months, Kenny. I thought he said December to February. Was it?
No. He said for the 2021 to 2022. Yes, JL?
Yeah, but
December 21 to February 2022. That's just 2 months.
Beginning of 2020.
Okay, correct.
That's even worse.
Okay, but watch this. Okay, short spell. The optics look bad. Cenat got to fire his boy. You saw the emotional from him. But why did you hold it that long? Cenat just started getting hot the last couple years, the last 2 years. And all of a sudden, this pops up now. Okay, why did it pop up now rather than you have outrage back then and bring it to the appropriate people if you felt so offended? We never ask these questions. Sometimes that's why I say, so you could slow down and stop thinking that I favor people that are like that in that type of lifestyle. I hold you accountable for at least taking time with it, because these are very dangerous things. Once you're labeled that and you're found guilty, you have to register wherever you go. You know that, right?
Yeah, I'm fully aware.
Branded. And you're an older man that knows words have power, and you're up here, nail him to the cross. I don't want to find out what went on. I don't want to find out
if a 21-year-old continues to have a conversation with someone that told them that they were 17, that now tells me that you are being intentional about keeping it, by continuing to progress with this conversation and possibly actually engaging with the interactions. From what I know and from my experience is that young men that do that start that at an early age, they continue to do it into adulthood.
So you're making a clinical diagnosis. Do you have a license by any chance?
I don't need a license to.
So you don't need a license to make a clinical diagnosis as for what you were saying feeling wise regarding something of this matter.
From what I know, from the patterns that exist, that are real, that is a pattern that commonly happens for people that are labeled.